Michael, has it always been challenging to make new friends?
It has.
Trying not to choke up. Sorry.
I started going to New York City and getting quotes for app development. And I think the first quote I got was $250,000. So I'm like, it's either I face the failure I was so scared of and just call it quits, or I find a way.
Oh, yeah. Now there's a girlfriend in the scene. Huh?
She's the love of my life.
What happens after we're gone? How do you guys think about that? How do you plan? What things are you excited about?
Well,
it was earlier this year in April at a great golf tournament called the Masters at Augusta, Georgia. I was invited by some friends to go down. We went down for a day. And one of the great parts of when you go to these things, you never know who you're going to meet. And we sit down for dinner. It's a buffet kind of dinner in a backyard of a home. And I meet this crazy guy named Andy Fetherman. It turns out he's also a New Yorker, also a Long Islander. He's in an interesting business. He works for a Swiss company that manufactures book binding equipment. And the name of the company, Andy?
Mueller Martini.
Mueller Martini.
Yes.
I like any company named Martini, even though I don't drink them. But we just hit it off. We had a really good time. We enjoyed getting to know one another at dinner, and we decided we should connect when we're back in New York and Long Island. And we did, and we've gotten to know one another, and we've become friends. And he introduced me to his bride, Mary, and his daughter Juliana, and his son Michael. And what we have in common is we, in terms of our families, we all have, like so many families we know, have someone with different kinds of needs in it than the rest of us. And that has an impact on everything. It has an impact on our attitudes, what we do, where we go, who we socialize with, and what our mission in life is, what our raison d'etre is. And I've gotten to know now Juliana and Michael. And they're wonderful people and a wonderful family, and I'm just happy to tell your story today, or help you to tell your story, or at least allow you to tell your story and the different things you're doing and how life is for you today and what the future might look like for you. So let's start with you, Mary and Andy. What's it like growing up on Long Island with someone with special needs?
Mary, you said it first. We moved out to Long Island just before Michael was born.
From
Queens. We lived in Richmond Hill, Queens. Mary's from Ozone Park. And
that's the other thing we have in common?
That's correct. South Ozone Park, actually. Where
we aspired to be in Richmond Hill or Ozone Park.
Exactly. And it was a beautiful place to live, but to raise children, we felt it would be nicer to be on the island. And we ended up finding a nice home in Kings Park.
Which was a long way from Queens back then.
I'll tell you, if I may tell a quick funny story.
We'll be the judge whether or not it's fun.
Okay, thank you. We come out to look at houses, and we're driving out this long ride to Long Island, and Mary starts crying. I'm like, why are you crying? There's going to be moose out here. I don't want to live out here. I said, moose on Long Island. It was kind of a funny story, but now she loves it out here, and the services that are afforded to special needs community on Long Island are second to none. Fantastic. In Kings Park in particular has been a great, unbelievable what services from day one Michael received his early intervention from the state. And then when he aged into the school, every possible, it was so much we had to pull some away because he was getting pulled out too much. Yeah. So it was a wonderful thing. And you said it was the word fate. Mary believes in fate. Please tell your fate story.
Mary, how did you pick Kings Park? Did you have some friends there? Had you visited there before?
No.
Tell your story.
My dad, may he rest in peace, he found our house for sale by owner in the newspaper.
Remember when there were real estate listings in the newspaper?
Right.
Exactly.
And that's how that came about. I didn't want to live in Kings Park. I wanted to live in Plainview, and I have absolutely no idea why.
Yeah.
And we hooked up with a real estate agent from Century 21 who kept bringing us to Plainview. And it never worked out. It was too high. We were outbidded, whatever. And then boom, my father finds this. And we go look at it, and Andy falls in love with it. I didn't.
Right by the water, it was just a nice...
Yeah. But I didn't want to live there.
Modest means at the time, it was more than the house than we thought we ever could afford and live by. So
right. So we ended up buying the house, and I couldn't understand why we were there. I was crying. I was homesick. I was pregnant with Michael. And then when we had Michael, kind of sensed that there was something a little bit different. That might be a good word to use. Trying not to choke up. Sorry. So then
So you already
we
have
got early intervention.
you already have a baby.
We have a baby.
Who's an angel?
Well, wait, let's not stretch
We
things
already
here.
had Juliana.
Yeah.
She was a good baby.
She was 2. She was 2. Then Michael came along, and we kind of realized that something was a little bit different about him. And he go to the pediatrician, and he told me, "What you're doing is wrong. You are comparing him to her. You have to stop doing that." And I said, "Oh, he's probably right.
Yeah.
He's the doctor." But then as time went on, we realized that the doctor was wrong, and we were right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we started with early intervention. And it started at that age, and it went all the way to 12th grade, OT, PT, vision, and speech. And then I realized why God brought us to Kings Park, because everything was free.
Yeah.
And we appreciated
Well,
it.
not quite free. You do pay
We
these
pay the
things called
taxes,
school
but,
taxes.
But you know what I mean. I
Yes,
mean,
it's
everything
not
was
extra.
there for us.
Yeah.
And I would go to the
Well,
meetings.
first it was available, which is critical.
Right. But I would go to those SEPTA meetings,
And
you know.
not the case a generation or two before that.
That's correct.
You know,
Right.
Growing up in South Ozone Park, we were right on a Richmond Hill line. There were no programs available for people in school. Then.
Right.
None.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very grateful. I mean, I can't say anything bad.
Yep.
Very, very grateful. And that I feel like that's why we were brought to Kings Park.
Yep.
I truly believe that.
And Michael, what's your earliest memories of school? What do you remember most about early school? Do you remember taking a bus? Did you walk? Did you get driven?
I remember taking a bus.
Did you like the bus?
Loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do, right?
It was funny, Jim, because he had the opportunity to take a smaller bus,
Yep.
but Sissy took the big bus. So we had to get exceptions.
Yeah.
We had to go down. We were very active and very passive aggressive, but
Yeah.
we were always very an advocate for Michael and Juliana. And we got him to take the big bus. And it was the best thing because it helped his socialization. Sissy was mostly, not every year because when they aged out of different schools, but he loved the big bus. The bus drivers were unbelievable. Al, our buddy Al.
Oh, God.
So the bus was a big part.
And there is a lesson in terms of the impact everyday folks can have on other people's lives. You know,
100%.
bus driver can have a huge impact on how somebody feels, how they feel about themselves. And so no matter what our job is, we certainly have the power to impact the people around us.
We do.
How's work for you now, Andy?
Work's going really well. Having a banner year. People love books.
Books are back in style.
Books are back in style. I mean, Juliana, you can tell me your generation.
There's book talk.
Book talk and I just saw an article. I saw a commercial for Taylor Swift holding up her book from the Eras tour, holding it up, showing it. This is my book. It's really trendy. And I guess I met with a couple publishers with Macmillan and Peg Random House and Scholastic, and it's more of an object now.
Yep.
People like the phone. They love social media. They love internet, but they want to get away.
I read recently that Barnes & Noble is opening 54 new
They're
stores.
opening 54 new stores. That's correct. And not just the infrastructure's coming back. It's just the love for the book is coming back. And I'm glad it is, not just from our business, of course.
That
selfishly
helps.
for that, of course, no doubt. But the book is a wonderful tool that gets you away from the lure of the phone.
Electronic devices, yeah.
I agree. So it's been really going well, and we expect that to continue going forward. Thank you for asking.
And Juliana, you just finished your MBA at Sacred Heart?
I wouldn't say just. I'm pretty old now, but about 5 years ago, I got my MBA at Sacred Heart. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And tell me what you developed a special interest and developed a product. Tell me what your project was, how it came about.
So I created Making Authentic Friendships, which is an app that enables individuals with special needs to make friends based on their age, diagnosis, interest, and location. So ultimately, it's like a dating app for friends for the special needs community. It's inspired by Michael, Making Authentic Friendships, MAF for his initials. So it definitely all goes back to him. We incorporated on his
Michael,
birthday.
let me guess, middle name Andrew.
How'd you know? How'd you
I
know?
had to get in there somehow.
And it's been a crazy journey. It's been 4 years since we've had the actual app. I know nothing about apps. I am not a coder, nothing like that. And in college, I had an idea and I was naive. I wasn't even a business major. And I just started Googling and reading books to the whole book conversation. I read 40 books a year. I love to read. So at the time, I started picking up all the books, how to start a business, how to write a business plan, all the things. I had no idea what I was doing, and I still don't. And I think that makes the best business people because you just fake it till you make it, you know? So I created the app, and at the time, I wanted to get proof of concept. So I started building a social media around it, which is so important this day and age. So I made an Instagram, and that's what I'm best at. And I put the idea out there. I was petrified that I would fail and everyone would see me fail. And, it's a little bit of an ego thing, of course, but I feel like that's half the reason why most people don't follow their dreams, because they're scared of failure and what people are going to think. So I vividly remember the day that I put it out there for the first time after working on it behind the scenes, and I was crying and I was like, what if I fail and now everyone's going to know, and in so many ways I have failed and in so many ways I have succeeded. And that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. We currently have almost 9,000 users on the app in all 50 states and 75 countries. We've been featured on The Today Show, Lifetime, Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes, most recently Elevator Pitch. And it's been a ride, and I've built a huge online community. I reach 100,000 people in the special needs community every single month on my Instagram alone, which has been my absolute favorite part. I get to connect with people all over the country and the world, and siblings, parents, providers. So it's been amazing for our family, and I hope it's been amazing for the community and a tool that people can use, because that socialization is so important.
Michael, has it always been challenging to make new friends?
It has. I made plenty of friends, and I have a new family now. Of course, you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I also want to thank Smile Farms for taking me in their family, because I know...
Well, you're volunteering at Smile Farms, and that's important to us because these charities only work with a great base of volunteers and a community around them. So we're so happy that you are volunteering your time to help us. And I saw you working hard when we had our Wreaths Across America trailer truck visitors here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to be working hard again next week, doing some poinsettias.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So tell me some of the experiences you're seeing with people using the app and how it's working for them.
Yeah, so if you Google or go on our website, makingauthenticfriendships.com, you'll...
Slow that down. Makingauthenticfriendships.com. No
Yes.
spaces, no dashes.
Nope. You'll see some of the features we've done on some of the
Don't
things.
be too much a New Yorker and talking fast like
Sorry, I do talk very fast. I have a lot to say. The thought's coming, got to get it out. So you'll see some of the pieces we've done where we've actually had like real app users come together, and for some of those features that we've done. And that's been obviously amazing. Most specifically, I have it hanging in my office, a printout of one of the messages I got early on in the app process. And it was that they had someone to go see their favorite movie series with for the first time. So it's messages like that. And people saying, I've made friends, I've made connections. It's parents saying, I've been able to connect with other families who understand. Obviously I have friends, my parents have friends, but it's different when you can connect with families who understand.
Sure.
And we bond over that, obviously, as well.
Do you find that most of your social friends are people in similar situations?
No, none of my friends have the situation I have, but I've been lucky enough through my community to connect with people who do, which is really nice because, of course, my friends are always there to listen. But
and they're more empathetic when they have a experience.
For sure. But it's, some of the things we experience. And if there's special needs families listening, you'll know that there's certain things that you experience that are traumatic in some ways and things that go on in your life. And that's hard for people who haven't experienced it to kind of understand. So I think it's equally as important to have the parents and the siblings be able to connect with other parents and siblings as it is for the individuals, because it's isolating for us too. It
is. And I was talking about this recently. I remember the impact it had on me as a sibling, the oldest of 5 children. We didn't have any means. And I remember my parents being like organizers of Saturday morning, renting out a church hall and inviting other people in the community who had similar situations to come together so the kids could play together, so they'd have friends, that we'd have friends who also had similar situations, and that my parents had somebody to talk to. We heard about a program here. What are you comparing notes, having a cup of coffee? Unfortunately, also then a cigarette, which was a norm then, and which is why they both died very young. But it was not lost on us, the rest of us and the family, that my parents had needs too. And they were looking out for our needs, for my brother Kevin's needs. And so they just decided, hey, let's pull a few families together. And it got quite big. And then we'd be involved in different groups around Queens. We'd travel to on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings and all where they could all gather. But it's good to have someone else you could talk to.
It's an early version of making authentic friendships.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what it was, but this was literally 60 plus years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what we're trying to do on a bigger scale, obviously, with the technology.
And have you used the technology on your app, makingauthenticfriends.com, available in the App Store?
It is.
Yep.
It is.
And have you convened groups?
Yeah, so it's funny you say that. We actually launched in the middle of COVID, the actual app. And of course, at the time, it had been in the works for years. And then it was COVID and no one could go out. And that was a whole thing, obviously. So in some ways, it helped us, obviously, because people were stuck at home and they wanted to use the app even more, just even if it was chatting with people. Yes. But at the same time, we kind of pivoted away from the in-person events. So I'm happy to say after finishing school and doing all of the things in my life, we are starting events now. I'm hosting for free. People with special needs can come bowl at the Comac Bolero, and their siblings can also come bowl for free because we don't want to forget them, because I know what that's like. And,
They also need a driver.
And so I have over 80 people coming to bowl, and I'm hoping this is the first of it's our kickoff event, and I do plan to hopefully do it in all 50 states. So that's my goal, starting with Long Island, of course. And so I'm going to start trying to do one in Jersey, Connecticut, like the states around us, and then start spreading from there, and hopefully make committees in other states and, have them more repeatedly. So that's coming up, and we're super excited.
Michael, I've come to know that golf is important to you.
It is. Me and my dad are good together.
What do you play golf in?
You're better than me, buddy.
You play Special Olympics?
I play Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And when I last saw you, the day we had the Reach Across America people here, you were going upstate the next weekend to play golf. And I heard it came out pretty good.
It came out great.
Where'd you get there?
I got gold.
Oh, yeah, baby.
So
that's good.
Did you play with Dad then or on your own?
I played with my dad.
Yep.
Alternate shot.
Yeah, they do alternate shot.
So
he made a 10-foot bender putt in the last hole, and he won gold by a stroke, and he made the putt.
Wow.
Good job.
Wow.
Yay.
So is that your favorite recreational activity, golf?
Not just golf.
What else?
I like bowling and being part of things.
You play 4 Special Olympic sports. You know what other ones? Bowling, golf.
Bowling, golf, and basketball.
And track.
And track.
What's your event in track?
I'm going to try out swimming now.
Oh, wow.
It's something new that I want to try out for.
What do you do in track, though, buddy?
Are you a sprinter? Distance runner?
I'm a sprinter.
Yeah.
He is fast.
100 yard?
100 yard.
Oh, yeah. You got gold in
and
that, too.
He throws the, it's not a
shot put,
but it's a softball, but it emulates a shot put.
Same idea.
He throws a shot. He won silver he throws the ball well because he played baseball when he was a kid.
Yep.
We didn't know the untapped potential, and what I love about Special Olympics, a beautiful organization. I have to tell you,
it's the best.
It gives them a purpose. It gives them a success failure feeling, and they're so competitive because I coach all the different things, and to see these people and the joy in their eyes, and the disappointment when they lose, but that's a good thing. It's a life lesson.
Yeah, it is.
And what a wonder! We were only involved now 3 years. I'm so lucky that we got involved. And
Yeah.
He's doing more now than he did when he was
in school.
in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
3 days a week, he's got practice, which gives him his girlfriend. He met bowling. He has a girlfriend, right, Michael?
Oh,
Yeah.
now there's a girlfriend on the scene. Huh?
She's great.
She's great.
We might have gifted her some 1-800-Flowers for their 1-year anniversary last week.
Oh.
We did.
What's her name?
Barbara.
Yeah, nice.
And she's great. She's one in a million. She's the love of my life. And what can I say?
Michael, what's her diagnosis? What does Barbara have?
She's got Down syndrome.
Right.
But I love her.
Male?
Oh my God, we all do.
Yeah, she's
She's
great.
a sweetheart.
And
God.
I want to say one thing.
Okay.
If anyone out there wants a girlfriend, trust me, I've been there, done that.
That's a good thing.
But
Tell them to get involved in things and they'll find one maybe.
get involved in things. Because once you find a girlfriend, you'll be happy as ever. And
So
trust me.
when you say do things, that includes your volunteering, Special Olympics activities. What else? Using the app.
Yeah.
Michael and Barbara's also, she's dances and she has a play coming up.
Yeah.
She's a dancer and not so much a singer, more of a dancer. So we can look forward to seeing her doing that.
Yeah.
Michael's Barbara. 1 year anniversary, right, kiddo?
Oh, yeah.
So you get this idea for the app several years ago. You work on it, you launch it, and now you want to take it. Your goal is to take it to all activities and convening activities in all 50 states.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I just recently, over the past year, so Making Authentic Friendships is an LLC. I just got a nonprofit as a sister company. So it's MAF Foundation, same idea, same mission, getting them into their communities, making friends, socialization,
Yep.
jobs, families, providers, meeting each other. So over the past year, we've been focusing a lot on the nonprofit. So the events we've been running that we plan to run are under the nonprofit now, and our golf outing under the nonprofit.
And you folks have supported the Smile Farms golf outings and now the gala. So happy to have you as part of that. Tell us about your idea for your golf tournament, because that's the first contact you and I had, Andy, after we met in Augusta, was you said, my daughter, this young kid, runs a golf tournament. And you were so proud of her.
Yeah.
And you said, hey, can you help support it? And while I was on the road, a team of folks from here at the Flowers Companies went to the golf outing, and they were blown away by
Thank you.
this young whippersnapper pulling this golf tournament together. So when was the first one? How did it come about?
Oh my God. This coming May will be our 8th annual, which is insane. My first one I actually had because I was the president of the Autism Awareness Club at Sacred Heart University. And I wanted to raise money for the cause and on campus raise awareness. And, you know, we were having little bake sales and this and that. And we were doing well for a club, but it just wasn't big enough for me. So I'm like, guys, I want to run a golf outing. And Sacred Heart actually owns a golf course, Great River in Milford, Connecticut.
Fabulous.
I haven't, but
It's fabulous.
one of our big supporters at Smile Farms, Paul Armando,
Oh, I know him.
went to Sacred Heart
I know him.
and played golf there, but he was a hockey player.
Yep. Yep.
At Sacred Heart.
I'm the president of the Long Island Alumni Association for Sacred Heart. So I wanted to have a golf outing. So I went to the golf course and I'm like, how do I have a golf outing? And they were like, this is what you need to do. You need to guarantee 72 golfers, whatever it was. And I was going to do it under my club. And then I started setting it all up and doing all the planning for it. And then the school told me I couldn't do it. I don't know why, logistics, whatever. I think because there was alcohol being served, and as a club I wasn't allowed, whatever. So I wasn't allowed to do it under the club anymore, and I had already spent 6 months planning it. So at that point I had the business, and I'm like, you know what? Me and my family are just going to take it on, and we're just going to have a golf outing, and the money will go toward the business.
38 people came.
Yeah,
it was tough building the momentum.
You know how it is, like anything else, the first time you do something, most of the time you're not hitting it out of the park. So it was a small crew, and this year will be our 8th, and we now do have a full course, and we do make tens of thousands of dollars. And, for me, that's for the size of my organization, making $30,000 profit every year is a win.
Sure is.
As one person.
And you're building community.
Right. And it's the best day of the year, in my opinion. And, obviously I talk there, and it is the best day of the year. All of my loved ones are in the room. They're there supporting something that I believe in so strongly, and supporting my family. And it's like my wedding day every year.
Yep.
And it's amazing, and I love it. And we've raised well over hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years just doing golf outings. So highly recommend.
Tell us about your experience raising money for the app.
Oof, boy. So as I mentioned, when I got the idea, I started building a social media around it. And by the time I, put the idea out there and launched all the marketing stuff, I started going to New York City and getting quotes for app development. And I was not pleasantly surprised what I was getting quoted. I think the first quote I got was $250,000. And I was in college. I mean, $200 was a lot of money to me, and it was unfathomable how I would raise that type of money. I mean, I'm like, that's a house. Like, how am I going to raise that type of money? But I was knee deep. So I'm like, it's either I face the failure I was so scared of and just call it quits, or I find a way. So I decided I would find a way, and I crowdfunded on iFund Women, which is like a Kickstarter, but for women entrepreneurs, which I loved. And I have an investor in the initial app who has a son with autism. He's from Pennsylvania. My dad put money in, I put money in, friends and family, golf outing. And by the skin of our teeth, we somehow scraped together enough money to create an app. And that's pretty much how it's been going.
But you also went on Shark Tank.
I did not. I tried out for Shark Tank.
He tried.
But again, being entrepreneurs, failure.
She made it to the last round.
Yes.
And they just didn't make it.
So maybe next year.
They didn't make the call.
But you did go on another show like that.
Yes, Elevator Pitch.
Yep.
It's Entrepreneur Magazine's version of Shark Tank. So it's pretty much the step below Shark Tank. Very similar idea. You pitch in an elevator, you have 60 seconds. And then when you get to the top, the elevator is either open or they don't. And then when they open, there's 3 very wealthy investors sitting there wanting to maybe give you money for your initiative. So we did get into the boardroom. We did get to speak to the investors, one of which is the founder of Netflix. And I got $10,000 gifted to me from Amazon Business. We're currently using that to get a code review of our app and see where our technology is as we stand. Everything's changing so fast, and we did develop it years ago. So now we're just trying to revisit the code and see what we could do to make it that much better and into the future.
And 5 years from now, what do you think your organization looks like?
It's a loaded question. Of course, I hope the app is thriving and serving even more people. Like I said, we are in 50 states. We are at almost 9,000 users. In order for it to be as beneficial as I know it could be, we need to be at 900,000. There is the market. So I'm hoping that some way we can get there, and that'll be thriving. And also in partner, the nonprofit will be thriving, and hopefully we will be succeeding in the 50 states, having events in every state, having committees in every state. And I will say that I do want to do something with employment with the nonprofit as well. Some things are in the works, possibly coffee shop, something like that on Long Island. That's in the works in the next few years for us as well. So I want to look at the employment piece, and I know that's what you guys do. So definitely, there's collaboration there, and who knows? I just want to be helping people and we meet the greatest people in the special needs community at the galas, at the golf outings.
It is a special community of people.
It is.
People warmer than the average, willing to help, connect.
Absolutely.
It's a common experience, and it's a wonderful, welcoming community, particularly things like Special Olympics.
Absolutely.
I remember in my family, it was always the New York State Special Olympic Games were in June, and you'd travel to a different town in New York State every June. The whole family would go, a caravan of cars. And as my father would point out to me, we're in Ithaca, New York, we're in Albany, we're in Buffalo, we're all over New York State for the New York State Special Olympics. And so we got to see Rochester and all these towns we might not have gone to for any other reason. But my father would always tell us it's important that we all go as a family. Now, we all have our own families at that point, but that's how our kids learned about
Sounds like us.
Special opportunities to socialize and meet other families in similar circumstances. And then grandkids, the next generation going to those events, it's an education, it's experience, it's a community. And we'd look forward to it. My father would always point out to me that while you have your graduations and weddings and religious events and all of those things, this is Kevin's special event. And indeed it was. And so it was great lessons. A smile comes to my face when I think of Special Olympics in June, the state games, and all the different activities around Long Island that we'd go to for all of his events. But the pinnacle was always the June state games.
Yeah.
And
Our
remember,
favorite, right, Michael?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could speak to the fact as a sibling yourself of someone with special needs. I mean, it's made me the best person. And I'm not trying to, toot my own horn, but
it makes you a better person.
I'm empathetic, patient, all because of him. I would not be half the person I am.
Michael, how important it is to you to have such a good and supportive family?
Well, I'm appreciative. I know that. And I'm glad to have a good family. So,
Can you imagine a better family?
I can't imagine.
No.
Great answer, buddy.
And Mary and Andy, the big challenge for parents, for responsible siblings is what happens after we're gone. How do you guys think about that? How do you plan?
What about it? And we planned it out.
Yeah, we have all
All of our ducks
legally
in
all the
order.
ducks are in a row.
Yeah.
Juliana is this backup guardian. She tells all her boyfriends. Michael's mine.
What do you say? All her boyfriends? Calm down, there,
Over the
Juliana.
years, over the years, the few of them, and that puts a burden on her too, which I love.
Yeah, my last one left me because of it, but we won't talk about that.
I always tell people, we do 401k people and stuff. When you're talking about, we have to raise save for 2 retirements,
Yep.
ours and Michael's.
Yep.
And luckily, we're blessed to have a good opportunities there, and
Yep.
and certainly,
But it is important that a family be deliberate
very
about the legalities,
unbelievably.
estate, financial planning. The good news is you have the means.
Yep.
Because so many families
God
don't.
bless.
Right.
They don't have an intact family. They don't have the means. So for those families that are blessed to have an intact, healthy family, planning is essential. And it's not regular planning. You have to go to people who actually know this world because it's distinct and it's very different.
100%. Guardianships, health proxies, all sorts of, you got to watch his value because he has state services. So you have to, he has a state budget for his training, that self-directed budget that you have to watch and know the rules of. And it breaks our heart because we know many families that came up through Kings Park even that didn't have that means. And we helped out several of them.
Yep.
Continue to do so today. I'm actually helping a new family now that's just getting into it because I said, let us help you with the process because it's scary.
Yes.
It's daunting. When I first saw the budget process and OPWD and the intake, for me, it was intimidating as anything, as opposed to someone who didn't have that capability. And we have our roles. I play the role of the business manager of this whole plan.
Yep.
And Mary plays the role of the emotional support manager of the whole plan. And it works. We're diverse personalities that really work well. And
I'm the doer. I'm the secretary.
we're very proud of one thing, Jim. The proudest thing is the divorce rate for special need parents is very high, 80+%.
87.
And we're married 30. It'll be 32 next year.
And Mary, how many of those 32 years have been happy?
Wait a minute. Let's not go south on this podcast.
It's true. It's not spoken about often now. It puts an extra strain.
Oh my God.
No question.
And when you have someone like Andy who travels quite a bit, that's an extra strain, let me tell you.
Been to Switzerland lately?
I was there in August,
Yep.
going back in February, probably twice a year on average.
Yeah, you had some kind of a management retreat.
Yeah, the CEO conference was the retreat, and then there's a big show in Lucerne in end of February,
Yep.
which is great.
You stop at Davos on the way?
No, actually, Rudy was a funny story. Rudy Mueller is the owner. It's still a family-owned company, Mueller Martini. And when he very humbled that they appointed me CEO and president back in 2022. So he calls me. He's in Davos.
Or as they say, Davos.
Davos, yes. And he's a billionaire from Switzerland, but a beautiful human being, right? Rudy's fantastic people. He called me just to congratulate me and that he had trust in me. And so having that guidance, and again, Juliana said it, if it wasn't for my son, our son, I wouldn't have the empathy and the patience and the lack of less judgmental aspect that put me in this role. I don't think I would have had the role. And walk towards special needs is what I always tell people. Don't walk away. It's hard to walk towards, but do it it makes you better. It makes you a better person. It makes you feel good. Makes you
Mary,
feel good.
what
Yes.
message for the other moms out there? The kids coming toward the end of the school age bracket. That's when things change dramatically.
Yeah.
How do they think about it? How would you recommend that they plan for the post-school years?
Well, I would recommend networking. I would recommend having your young adult be labeled.
Yep.
Right.
That helps.
And not to be in denial,
Yep.
even with meds.
Yep.
And just be supportive and be their voice.
So, Juliana, what's next for you career-wise?
That is a good question. Maybe I'll come work for you one of these. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Like I said, I want to continue to try to grow the app if I have the means. Really the nonprofit. We really are focusing a lot on the nonprofit these days. This Christmas, we're sponsoring 10 or more families that can't afford to buy their special needs children Christmas gifts and can't afford to put food on their Christmas table. The nonprofit is getting the gifts, putting the food on the table, doing all that. So that just being able to do that for the community has been amazing. And I am a giver by nature. Like, even if I have my last dollar, I'm like going to give it to the homeless guy because that's just how I am. So
That's what we do when we go to Manhattan.
yeah, give out all the dollars. But yeah, just help people. That's all I want to do.
And if someone wants to get in touch with you, help you with the app, with the social efforts, the convening efforts you're doing around Make Authentic Friends, how do they get in touch with you?
I mean, any of my social medias are Making Authentic Friendships, makingauthenticfriendships.com. My contact info is on there.
Yep, perfect.
Email, phone.
Just go to makingauthenticfriendships.com and I have contact information there.
Yes.
Michael, what are you looking forward to next? It looks like golf is on hold weather-wise for a while. What's as you think ahead, what things are you excited about?
Well, I'm looking forward to a lot of things. Like Wednesday.
What's Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, where it's only poinsettias outside.
Come in here.
Me and Isabel and Beth, we're gonna be
The poinsettia sale.
we're gonna be selling poinsettias. So
They come on out.
come on out, everyone, because we're selling poinsettias. So if you need any, we're here for you.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing your story with us today. I think you have a wonderful message and a wonderful role model family for not just people with special situations, but just for families in general. It's great to see you pull together as a family and the good and solid people you are. You're a role model for us all. We're so happy to have you as part of the Smile Farms community and just proud to have you as friends.
Thank you.
Thank you
feel
for
the
having
same
us.
way.
By those words, and we echo them back to you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.